Revenge films.
I met my wife through a mutual friend. I'd never had a girlfriend before, so when I started dating this beautiful woman, I was honestly over the moon. I didn't want to lose her to someone else, so I tried really hard to impress her. I mean, really hard. I carefully planned every date, did my research, and took her to fancy restaurants almost every time. It wasn't cheap, but I had a solid job at a large company with a good salary and generous bonuses, so I could afford it without too much strain. About a year into our relationship, I proposed. I picked out a trendy engagement ring at the time and popped the question at an upscale restaurant. She said yes and looked genuinely happy. But once we got married, things turned out very differently than I'd imagined. It quickly became clear that she wasn't actually all that interested in me. She became a housewife, which I was totally fine with. That was what she'd always wanted. But her attitude was off. She'd say things like,
"Should I cook dinner for you today? I guess I can do your laundry if I have to."
She always acts like she was doing me a huge favor. It started to wear on me. There were days when there was no dinner or the apartment was a mess. Whether the chores got done totally depended on her mood. I'd sometimes ask her to cook for me in the morning, and only if I hyped her up enough, showered her with praise, would she actually do it. I get it. No one wants to do chores 365 days a year. I lived alone for years, so I know how tiring it is. A day off here and there is normal, but needing to beg for basic help every day, that was exhausting. Then one morning, out of nowhere, she cut my allowance. I was already only getting about $100, which felt pretty low considering I was bringing home over $3,000 monthly. But she cut it down to just $35. I protested. After all, that money included my lunch expenses. She said she'll prepare my lunch from now on. I figured she meant she'd start packing me bento boxes to save money. But the next day, she handed me a single discounted sandwich from the day before and a giant water bottle filled with plain water. I was honestly shocked. Still, I couldn't bring myself to push back. I was in love with her, and part of me was just grateful that she chose to marry someone like me. She was good to my parents, and that counted for something. So I kept my mouth shut, even though I was really struggling inside. Then one day, out of nowhere, my wife confessed that she'd been cheating on me. I literally blurted out, "What?" But she showed zero remorse. In fact, she was completely unapologetic and said things like, "He's more attractive than you, he makes more money, and this is your fault for being such a low-level man." In fact, she didn't even try to soften the blow, just said it straight to my face. What shocked me even more was that she didn't intend to divorce me. She seemed confident that I wouldn't leave her. And honestly, I could see why. I had always been obedient, deeply in love with her, and never stood up to her. She probably thought I was too afraid or too dependent to walk away. The truth is, she just wanted to keep me around as her personal ATM while she had fun with a high-spec guy on the side. To be fair, in the beginning, I was genuinely in love. I have no doubt I loved her way more than she ever loved me, if she even did at all. Honestly, I'm not sure she ever cared about me. Looking back now, I kind of laugh at myself. But the moment she admitted to the affair, every last bit of love I had for her vanished. And right then, she had the audacity to say, "If you don't want me to leave, you'd better treat me even better than before." She went on and on bragging about the other guy, completely oblivious to how messed up it was. And while she was saying all this, I was recording everything. You see, my wife had always kept up a perfect image in front of others. My parents, her parents, our friends, so everyone thought she was the perfect wife. That's why I knew no one would believe me without proof. So I recorded everything, and once I had enough, I consulted a lawyer and got fully prepared. Then I went to see my parents. I played the recordings and showed them the evidence. They were shocked. But my mom, who absolutely hates anything to do with cheating, immediately said,
You need to divorce her right away. That woman is trash.
She was furious. She told me that, as a fellow woman, she had always sensed that something was off about my wife, that there was something fake hiding underneath her nice act. Next, I went to my wife's parents, this time with my lawyer present. My wife was there too, and in front of her parents, she put on a show, quietly crying like she was the victim. To make matters worse, she had twisted the entire story and made it sound like I was the one who betrayed her. Her father, completely convinced by her tears, called me a piece of garbage. Her mother joined in, demanding that I pay alimony. Honestly, her performance was impressive. I couldn't even blame them for believing her. She was that convincing. But then I calmly pulled out the evidence. I showed them the documents and recordings I had gathered. Even then, they refused to believe it. So I asked, "You trust your daughter's words, right?" "Of course we do. Why wouldn't we trust our own daughter over you?" "Good. Then please listen carefully to exactly what she said." And with that, I hit play, full volume, on the voice recording from the day she confessed everything. There was no denying it. The voice of the daughter they trusted so blindly, openly bragging about her affair. Their faces turned pale. Her father couldn't even look at me. He was too ashamed after how confidently he'd called me a liar. Meanwhile, my wife turned to me, her face twisted with rage, and shrieked,
When did you even record this?
Then she lunged at me, scratching my face in front of everyone. She even slapped my lawyer across the head. We were all stunned. Her parents scrambled to stop her, while my lawyer, visibly shaken, calmly pulled out his phone and called the police. Even then, she kept lashing out. Eventually, the police arrived, and she was arrested on the spot for obstructing law enforcement. The whole time, she hurled insult after insult at both me and my lawyer. Because of that behavior, we ended up raising the amount of emotional damages in the lawsuit. Honestly, my lawyer was furious and told me, "We're going all the way with this." I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. That day ended with her being taken away in cuffs. Later, her parents contacted me again and sincerely apologized. Her father even got on his knees and said, "We'll make sure she pays full compensation. I'm so sorry for trusting her and dismissing your words." Her mother, who had earlier demanded that I pay, looked terrified, like she was scared I'd sue them too. She bowed deeply, practically pressing her forehead to the floor, begging for forgiveness. My wife had never appreciated me, not even once. But in that moment, her parents finally saw the truth, and it honestly felt like a small bit of justice. As for the guy she cheated with, I sent a formal legal notice directly to his workplace. Everything came out, word spread fast, and he ended up getting fired. But the best part, just like my wife had bragged, he was a high earner, which meant he had savings. So when we demanded compensation, he paid up, and it was a very generous amount. After everything blew up, my wife was completely abandoned by her parents. They cut ties with her once they realized she had lied to and manipulated them too. As for the guy she cheated with, he dumped her as well, leaving her buried in debt. Desperate and alone, she started reaching out to me, begging for forgiveness. She sent message after message saying things like, "I only ever loved you. That other guy, I only used him to test how deep my love for you really was." It was pathetic. She probably thought that, since I had once been completely infatuated with her, she still had a chance. Maybe she could pull me back in. But I didn't even consider it. I ignored every message. I had nothing left to give her. Not time, not sympathy. Eventually, she had no choice but to start working part-time jobs just to survive and pay the compensation. But she'd never worked a day in her life before. She'd always been a full-time housewife. Now she had to cover both her living expenses and the damages she owed, so she ended up working 3 jobs at once. Even with that, it wasn't enough. From what I've heard, she now lives in a run-down apartment, scraping by on expired bread and discount groceries. She went from living a luxurious life during our marriage, high-end restaurants, expensive clothes, spa treatments, designer cosmetics, to complete poverty. And it's only going to get worse. She'll be stuck like that for the next 10 years at least. By then, she'll be older, and finding a new man won't be so easy. No more facials, no more expensive makeup products, no more shopping sprees. Her glamorous life is over. Her future is basically ruined. And honestly, she brought it all on herself. I don't feel even a shred of guilt. She got exactly what she deserved.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.